Welcome to 561 Music. My name's Ben.
And I'm Hector.
How are you doing, Hector?
I am doing fantastic. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. So I've been keeping myself real busy. I've been working hard, and it's just, like it feels like there's just everything happening right now. It feels like the big push before I'm going to England on June the 21st, and I kind of have this goal,
Do you have
I'm always working up to the goal,
Do you have like a list of things that you wanted or needed to get done before you left, and so that's what the big push is, or is it just because you feel like you're going to be gone for X amount of time and you want to get it?
To be honest with you, I think just now my life is busy. I just need to plot times in the future where I have a break.
Well, in all fairness, your life was already busy, and then one day you said, "Hey, we should do a podcast."
Yeah.
So here we are.
It's cool.
So, anyways,
well, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Just trying to same thing, man. Just trying to keep up and whatever. With me, it's as a freelance artist and as a freelance graphic artist, and doing my photography thing and doing Killbillies and all that stuff. I feel like it's feast or famine. Like one week I have 1,000 things to do, and then the next week I have nothing.
Right?
So,
yeah. It's that kind of gig life that we live.
Yeah. You know what? I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. I did corporate for 99% of my life up until about 2014, and
right.
I do not miss the corporate life. I do miss the corporate paycheck, but I do not miss the corporate life. That is 100% true statement right there.
Yeah, I feel that. I've never worked in a corporate environment, and I'm very, very glad of that
So
fact.
you've been a bum your whole life.
Pretty much. But I've been getting away with it pretty hardcore up to this point. Yeah,
Sweet.
yeah.
I just discovered it in 2014, and I've been holding on with two hands for been like, sweet. I don't want to go back to work, but whatever.
All right, so we have a great guest on this week. We have Joey Calderaio. How's it going, Joey?
Welcome.
Pretty well. Thank you very much for having me.
It's a
Look forward
pleasure,
to
man.
this.
So when we started this thing, I was thinking about who we could have on.
Right.
And I was looking through all the people who are doing stuff around here.
Right.
And there were a few people that jumped out almost immediately, and you were one of them just because, not just because, but one of the big parts of it was your work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like you're always either producing something in your home studio very proficiently, or you're playing somewhere, or you're making a video, or you're engaging with the people who listen to your music and your fans and stuff, and it seemed like there was progression there as well, and it's always nice to see something growing, and that's how it feels when I look at your social media presence. So I thought, let's have him on, because we don't really know each other, so it'd be nice to have a chat.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So we asked the first few questions are the same each time, and my first one is but be as sort of broad as possible. I'm just trying to get an idea of why did you start playing music at the beginning? What were the influences at the beginning of your life that kind of wound you into playing music?
So it's kind of funny, but have you guys played Rock Band?
Yeah.
I feel like maybe a lot of people my age might even have that answer, like Guitar Hero, Rock Band, and
that's
actually not awesome.
Totally.
It's not solely that reason, but that was definitely had a contributing factor. I
feel like there is a kind of like a musical element to playing it.
Yeah,
it's
for
almost
sure.
like a bit like dance, though, almost as well at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. Especially the drums on Rock Band. I felt like maybe I'm upsetting some people by saying that. They're like, "What?"
Well, I definitely feel like there are, I'm sure, people like yourself that played Rock Band and Guitar Hero and whatever, and were like, hey, and kind of sparked a little something to go play a real instrument. But but I think the other way around, though, I think if you're a musician, like I know a lot of drummers that are good drummers, and then they're like, oh, I'm going to go kill it at Rock Band. But because it's not like for real here, it's like, follow the color pattern or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, they get frustrated quick.
Yeah.
They actually make worse players than people that have never touched a drum set ever,
Yeah. There's videos of like people playing Through the Fire and the Flames on Guitar Hero who like shred it, but
That's funny.
I don't know how they would actually play guitar. But anyways, so I would say, definitely that game was a big part of it. And
what about your family? Do you have anyone in your family that's musical?
Right. I was gonna get to my brother. he always played guitar.
Right.
Especially when I was growing up. He would always strum acoustic. He was playing Red Hot Chili Peppers, Led Zeppelin, and stuff like that. My dad was a singer in a band when he was younger.
Oh, cool.
My grandpa plays banjo and piano.
Oh,
neat.
Have you guys ever played together?
Yeah, I've pretty much jammed with all of them, and that was definitely a big inspiration for me as well. It's just having that musical background for sure.
That's what do you guys play together when you? What does the family band play together when you guys jam?
Well, my dad loves to sing karaoke until the wee late hours. Like I remember, like in high school, he would be singing karaoke. It'd be like midnight, and he'd still be singing karaoke. I'd be like, Dad, I've got school the next day. He'd be like singing his heart out downstairs, super loud. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, he loves doing karaoke, and then just jamming a lot with my brother, playing acoustic guitar. He showed me a lot of stuff. So.
Did you like write music with your brother when you were younger? Have you ever done that with him?
So, not really when I was younger, but I was going to say actually more recently we started working on some stuff together. So
wow,
yeah,
that's awesome.
It's been fun.
You know, me and my brother, both my brother and my sister are musical, and and my sister didn't end up doing anything with it other than just enjoying being able to do it. But my brother's he makes dance music, and also he has a band with his wife, and he also is a mastering engineer and does all sorts of things. Like he went out to India and worked on music for a Bollywood movie and stuff like that. Oh, wow. Done all this crazy stuff. Yeah. And when we were young, we used to play together all the time. He was on the drums and I was on guitar.
Sweet.
And we always, we're going to have a band. It was the big thing.
Right.
And then it's kind of a shame, really. I moved to America and put that into. But we worked on some stuff over the pandemic, actually. Because
you played some guitar on one of his songs.
Yeah,
one of his tracks. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. What with kind of everyone being in their home studios, I feel like most of us who can do stuff in there did.
Yeah.
Is your brother? Is your brother a working musician as well, or
no? He's a computer engineer.
Okay.
So he is actually disabled, and he pretty much lies in a chair, all day. So when we recorded his vocals, because we're working on an EP together.
Right.
And so he had all these songs like written from like a while, like years ago, probably
cool.
10 plus
he
years.
Still plays guitar though, or
like every now and then.
Okay.
He'll pick it up, So. He sees me doing, a lot of my recordings, and he was inspired to get some of these songs out. So we recorded these songs together, and he recorded them like lying down on his back, and we just kind of propped up the mic in front of his face. But we're gonna put out like
I love that.
It's cool, right? It's kind of cool.
I love that. Like he's like,
right?
It ain't gonna stop me. I'm gonna do
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's pretty inspirational.
Right. No, it's been super awesome because it's kind of feels like full circle. Because my brother is the person that like mostly got me into music,
Yeah.
And now we're writing songs together, and
that's lovely. I really like that.
Yeah.
And it's a form of communication, isn't it? Making music with people, and I know that me and my brother over the years, were closer for it for sure.
Right. Like
there's certain things you can't kind of like explain that you can explain through music. And,
absolutely.
And also it's there's that friendly little bit of competition between brothers too,
For sure.
Totally. In terms of like your early years, like who were some musical influences? Who were you listening to? Who were you listening to when you were a kid, like a little kid, like kind of like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12?
Yeah, like Green Day, All American Rejects. Sweet. Simple Plan, like pop punk, yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
A lot of 80s rock.
Right. Yeah. So. Where did you grow up down here?
I grew up in Jupiter, Florida.
Right. Yeah. Like I've only been here for 11 years, which is because there's a certain amount of irony that I'm doing a local music podcast. Right.
You're a local now, though. So
I reckon 11 years, and
right.
You're a local now.
It's long enough. Local, maybe after like 3 to 5 years, I feel like is the. I don't know. There doesn't have to be a.
Apparently, in Key West, you can call yourself a conch after 10 years.
Okay. Yeah.
So maybe it's the same in Jupiter.
I think once you're acclimated to the weather,
yeah.
then you're a local.
Once if you go
Does
anywhere
that
else,
really ever happen?
Once you can stand being on the surface of the sun down here in Florida this summer, then you're a local.
I guess I'm not a local in that case.
well, what I find is, like if I go to other places, my skin dries out immediately, and I do, you know, I do feel the cold now. I didn't feel the cold almost at all before I moved here.
Right.
Yeah. It's freezing cold in England like most of the year. You get about 3 months and kind of maybe nice weather.
Right.
Most of the time it's pretty
Gotcha.
cold. But yeah, like do you have a writing process when you're writing music, and what is it? And like I want to talk to you about this because there's some other things within this that I want to ask you as well.
Okay. So it's always different.
Right.
I would say like a lot of times it just comes from simply strumming some chords on the guitar and hearing a song melody in my head and writing it down. And sometimes I'll just bang out the song right there, and you know I'll be able to write lyrics one after another, like when I'm in that flow state.
Yeah.
Other times it's a lot harder. And
yeah. Do you force yourself to write? Do you try and write when you're kind of not in the mood for it, like as a kind of exercise?
Yeah, I try sometimes to push it.
Yeah.
I notice that sometimes it's best for me to like try for maybe 30 minutes to an hour max, and if it's not coming, it's just not coming. I'll focus on something else that day.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You know, like I feel like a lot of times it's if I'm in the flow, then I'm in the flow, and I'll continue riding on that wave. But if it's not there, it's really hard for me to
fair enough.
focus.
I noticed with your like your songs seem very personal and also kind of introspective and quite sort of psychological and spiritual. How do you sort of see kind of music as like an extension of kind of like self-growth? Because I know that I do.
Right.
Like, is that something that you think of when you're writing music? How do you come to your lyrics, especially the ones that are kind of, you know, this about sort of the things you want to achieve and spiritual growth and stuff like that? Where does that come from?
A lot of times it's just what I'm feeling genuinely at the moment, and like trying to speak kind of through my soul in a way, you know, just trying to be real with myself and say what I want to say what I need to say on the paper and what I want to tell people. And a lot of times it's just for myself, not even necessarily for other people, even though that's an amazing part of it. But a lot of times I'm just writing because I need to get something out, or you know, I've always kind of felt like I wasn't the best socializer or like the best at expressing myself verbally, you know, and I felt like music is always an easier way to be myself, you know.
Absolutely.
We had Andrew from Sons of a Tradesman on here last week, and he said something similar, that when he writes, he doesn't write for anyone else. As selfishly as it sounds, he doesn't write for anyone else except himself. He wants to just, you know, he wants to write something that is, you know, that is him. It's what he's feeling, and you know, 50 years from now, he can look back on that and still be proud of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so
Yeah, I heard a comic say that that when he approaches his set, he tries to make it what he would want to go and see.
Right.
And that makes sense with me as well, because that's really the only way you can gauge. You can only gauge if something's good or not. Or do you like it? Then if you like it, then other people probably will like it as well.
Right.
You know, I think that's not a bad. And you know, that kind of relates to what you're saying a little bit. It's like, because me too. You know, I find that with my songwriting is intensely personal and usually to do with if I make some kind of like breakthrough on a subject.
Right.
I like feel the need to kind of write a song about it. I'll be like, oh, you know, the world needs to know about this thing that I just figured out.
For sure.
Or you know, the other one is I have some other ones that are like catharsis, like something happened to me and I just kind of need to get it out.
Right.
You know, I don't know if you have anything like that, but I have a song that I wrote It's called Propane Tank, and it was about when a fat fryer exploded in a kitchen, and I'd never really processed the emotions from that properly. I wrote a song about it, sang it like 1,000 times in front of a bunch of different people, and I'm like, all right about it now.
Right.
Right. Music is therapy.
Yeah, right, absolutely.
Yeah.
So is most of the stuff you write then, pretty personal, or do you ever just, pick a random subject that you like and just write about it, So,
Yeah. I've tried to do that.
Yeah.
I've tried the second part, but yeah, I feel like most of the songs I write, they end up being personal experiences or about what I'm feeling at the time. I've tried to, I've written ideas down like, oh, it would be really cool to write about this topic, and like I usually never end up going back to it. It's pretty much always like what I tend to feel at the moment. And
honestly, I thought that you were going to say that, and it's because I can, from listening to the music, I can relate to the approach that you take to it.
Right.
It sounds very earnest.
Right.
It sounds very like truthful and earnest, and kind of transparent.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice like that. I like
thanks.
that. About
Sometimes I wish I could, or just pick up any topic, and because there's definitely songwriters out there that can.
Oh yeah.
And that's what the Sons of Tradesmen were talking about last week. They were talking exactly that. Is that they have these songs about these different kind of characters that they made up in this kind of universe that and they just write about each individual character. And I tell you what, I've tried to do it. Absolutely, have tried to do it. Like I wrote a song about about a prostitute called Sheila Goes Down. And I thought it was so good, and I thought it was this like portrait of like working girls and I had this kind of real moralistic take on it. I listen to it now, it's so cringy. So cringiest thing ever. So I tend to just try and stick to stuff I know about now, which is like me and things I think, stuff that I feel about.
Right. I have like the last single that I put out was called Paradise.
Yeah.
Featuring Sierra Lane, who you've had on here.
Yeah.
So that song, it's like about a girl who's working the 9-to-5 job. She's chasing paradise, which is essentially like in her mind chasing freedom.
Sure.
And that one was kind of like I was writing about almost me, but personified as a woman. So it's like,
tapping into your inner feminism.
Exactly.
No, I've done that before as well. I've done that before. Yeah, in a song, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you brought up Paradise, so let's. I'm going to divert from Ben's questions for a second.
Sure.
I was looking. I was cyber stalking you, and getting some information and some food for the podcast here.
Nice.
Paradise has hit over 10,000 plays. Is that correct?
Yeah. Just this past weekend.
That's amazing.
Thanks.
That's amazing. And then recently you just posted that Relics Jam Bands list.
Yes, sir.
It made number 16, I believe.
Yep.
And it's something I mentioned on the podcast last week when we were saying that you were going to be on this week. But something I didn't mention to Ben is on that same list, you've got Sir Paul McCartney and Black Keys and people like that. Wow. So to be 16 on that list, man, that's respectable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you should be real proud of that.
Appreciate
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man. Yeah, definitely. We talked about it a little bit when we had Sierra on for our first episode. She was our first guest.
Yeah.
And I
what
guess,
a great way to get going.
Right.
Yeah, and I guess you guys.
Smart.
Yeah, you guys were going to release that I think like a week after or something like that. Right. Yeah. So, anyways, congratulations.
Thanks,
it's a great track, man.
Thanks.
It's a great track. So.
Yeah, in my kind of, I mean, I know that we all have these kind of sort of imagined sort of worlds that we all live in, these little bubbles we all separately live in. But in my head, the kind of sort of new sort of wave of like reggae that's happening down here, I sort of see you and Sierra in the same universe.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
That's kind of
For
makes
sure.
sense to me.
Yeah, I always felt like we would kind of like our paths would cross at some point, and then and when I was writing that song, I was like, something's missing on this track, and I don't know what it is. I'm like, well, I could really see a female voice on it, and then that's when I reached out to Sierra because she's got a great work ethic. She's a cool person. She's got a great voice, and she was perfect for the track.
Yeah.
So what? In terms of reggae, like who are your sort of big like influences musically? Who would you say, or just in general?
Yeah, Pacifiers definitely up there on the top for sure.
Sure.
Revolution, Stick Figure.
Yeah.
Lately it's been the Elevators. I don't know if you've heard of them. But
Yeah.
They're super cool. That's pretty much all I've been listening to lately is just go to their page and just hit shuffle. Just listen to all their songs. You know, I kind of get like obsessed with bands for a few months and just listen to nothing but them, and that's kind of how my
Do you listen to much like sort of 70s and 80s reggae? Have you listened to it?
I have.
Yeah.
You know, I definitely do. I kind of just like put that stuff on shuffle sometimes.
Yeah.
And honestly, I need to learn some more artists from those decades for sure. But,
yeah, and you know, this isn't like a witch hunt or anything like that. I'm just curious.
Yeah,
The reason I
Yeah.
ask is because you know, I can hear so much like influence in your music when I listen
Right.
to it. Like, you know, definitely people like Gregory Isaacs
Right,
and,
right.
like Johnny Osborne, people
Mhm.
like that. Like, you know, there's a definite feel of that, and that kind of lovers rock feel you have is with the vocal lines and the approach to it, that kind of smooth sort of style. Like,
Right.
like I think it's awesome. But then you can sort of deliver it in a more of an upbeat way, which,
Right.
you know, which is cool.
Right.
And I think great for the, you know, we're down here. We, you know, one of the big things that we all are is just kind of entertainment in bars. You
Yeah.
know?
Right.
And so I think that ends up affecting the way that you sound. You know,
Mhm. Right.
Like, because
That's a
you're
good
there,
point, actually.
you know, and it's like it's
Right.
hard not for it to affect the way you sound,
Right.
because you
Totally.
have to stand there every night doing
Right.
it.
Right. Right. That's a
I-
great point.
Yeah, and I definitely noticed that in yours. I was like, you know, oh yeah, you know, it sounds like a lot of that kind of smooth sort of late 70s, early 80s reggae, but then it's got
Right.
this kind of sort of
Bouncy.
bouncy vibe
Yeah,
to it. Like
yeah.
you can dance to it, you want
Yeah.
to dance to it. you
Right.
know?
Yeah, it
Cool.
makes you want
Yeah.
to move for sure. I mean,
Nice.
it's
Yeah.
it definitely makes you want to move.
Like a solid kind of bouncy mid pace to it. It's great.
Right.
Yeah, like we've ended up having loads of reggae people on this because
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it wasn't intentional. It's just there's a lot of reggae people down
Right.
here.
Right.
You know,
Right.
that literally is
Welcome
it.
to South Florida, Ben.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. You know, I've been playing reggae my whole life, and I'm a big reggae fan. You know, so it suits me down to the ground. So yeah, this is one of my favorite questions,
Mhm.
and I think I know how you're going to answer. Do you practice? And how much do you practice, and what
Oh,
do you
no.
practice?
Oh no! Go back like 10 seconds.
For those of you that are listening and not watching, he's sweating.
The veil has been lifted.
He just fainted. I definitely do not practice as much as I should. You know.
Right.
Don't be ashamed. That
Well,
is
the
a,
reason
that is
I-
a common answer.
Right.
The reason it's an interesting question for me to ask you is because you seem to be able to play so many different instruments that like at some point there must have been a lot of practice
Right.
involved. You know.
Yeah, I think a lot of times, like I was releasing a lot of those one-man band videos
Yeah.
over the pandemic. Yeah, like I don't practice bass too often. I pretty much, because I'm mostly a guitar player, so I'll kind of just like translate some of my guitar playing onto the bass. You know.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
call myself a bass player, but I play the bass lines on my originals, and it gets
Sure.
the job done. And
For sure. Yeah.
and I definitely, it's something I want to get better at. But yeah, I tend to like practice before I record it.
I know what you mean. I've done
Like,
that before. Yeah.
yeah. So
It's-
like for the one-man band videos, I would just like kind of listen to the bass line of the cover song, play over it, you know, just practice it right then and there rather than,
Right. Yeah.
and
Rather
then for
than
my,
have some kind of list of things that you practice
Right.
all the week. Yeah. Yeah.
for my originals, I actually recorded on keyboard first. I write all the parts on keyboard.
Right.
And
Okay.
then I don't actually play the bass parts until I'm actually like recording it, you know.
Right, okay.
So
For the people that who are listening to this, is outside. It sounds like there's like a crazy thunderstorm going on. Can you
Yeah,
hear it?
yeah.
Sounds awesome.
It's since we started. I can hear the rain, and I just
Yeah,
started
yeah.
hearing the thunder. So,
Kaboom.
so if you're hearing some rattling, the building is not coming down.
Maybe it's
thunder.
Maybe it's the end of the world, and no one will ever listen to this episode.
That's possible. I mean, does anybody really listen? No.
So how does it work in terms of you playing out? How many sort of versions of Joey Calderaio is there in terms of like bands and things like that? Do you still play with other people, and how many? And can you tell me a little bit about that?
There's pretty much Joey Calderaio, Calderaio Duo, Joey Calderaio Trio, up to
full band.
Yeah, right. Pretty much up to 6-piece, 7-piece bands.
Wow, that many.
Yeah, we don't. I think we've only performed as the 7-piece like only a handful of times. But
is that like horns and everything?
Yeah, it's like
is that when Marcus
saxophone
is
and trumpet.
Yeah. And stuff?
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so awesome playing in a big reggae band like that with the whole deal,
absolutely,
the brass
so
and everything.
Full,
Yeah, we do I'm in a ska band now, and brass with rock is it's so epic sounding, so much fun.
For sure.
Yeah, cool. So like with those guys, how do you work that out? Do you just send everyone the songs they learn them, or do you all practice together? Like, how do you guys ever get together and sort of rehearse?
Yeah, definitely. So back to the practice thing.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with it because I just want to know how much everyone else is doing to make myself seem like I have to feel bad.
Yeah. Definitely, we don't practice as much as we should, but sometimes it's as simple as saying something like, "Hey, learn the song before our gig tonight, and we'll practice." If it's like a low stakes kind of gig, we might get away with being able to practice it there if everyone listens to the parts and gets them down beforehand. And sometimes it's we meet up together and practice a couple times. A lot of times it's like before a wedding where we have to be super tight.
Sure.
We'll practice. So a lot of times it's like a situation like that will kind of force us to have to practice, like like a high stakes kind of gig.
But do you feel like, I mean, because I was looking at your schedule and it's just insane. I mean, it made me dizzy just looking at it. Do you feel like most of the guests that we've had on so far are working musicians, and so they're out always playing, and they're having a hard time finding time to practice because they're always playing out. But to a certain degree, do you find that the playing out is kind of practice? Like you said, some of the low stakes ones, you're just kind of working out new stuff. And,
right. Yeah, that's definitely another thing. Is like I think that's a great point because the low stakes gigs, I totally I'll print out a chord sheet or something like that and just put it on my my iPad, and we'll kind of learn the song. As I go at times.
We discovered a couple of weeks ago at a relatively low stakes gig that you can't take Free Falling into double time. It does not work.
But we tried.
The thing about Killbillies, right, is that we generally take every tune and take it into double time because that's kind of what makes it sound cool. That kind of like bluegrassy kind of versions of stuff. And at the speed we were playing it, no, Free Falling.
But as a side note, it's just how we were playing it because I actually worked it out double time, and I'll show you at practice tomorrow. It's doable. Totally doable.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, we do that a little bit as well. And I think if you can kind of do it right, especially if there's a party atmosphere, people quite like it. If you're trying out something new or whatever, people can get into that. You frame it as a fun thing.
Right.
Yeah. So, do you have any future plans at this point? Like, where do you see the Joey Calderaio kind of
world tour domination?
Yeah, pretty much opening for the Guns N' Roses. And
have you got anything in the pipes? Have you got anything in the pipes at the moment in the pipeline?
These pipes?
No, in the pipeline of your life.
Oh, pipeline of my life. So I've the song Paradise, the single. I'm going to be releasing a dub version of it, which for anybody that doesn't know dub, it's kind of just it's like the producer's take of a song, usually a reggae tune. Okay. In this case, it's very spacey, lots of delays and reverbs to kind of give it a different feel of the song.
Sure.
So that's being done by Ian Young. Will probably be out in the next month or so.
Oh, great.
My big goal for this year that I've been working really hard on is my first full-length album. So that's going to be the end of this year.
How many were on that other one? Is like 8 tunes on the other or something? Is it 7 or 8 on the? Something like that, isn't it?
I honestly don't remember.
Yeah, but I noticed it was like...
I think it was 6.
Right, 6, okay. I noticed it was like, between an EP and an album
Right.
sort of length. Yeah.
Right.
I think when we get to release our next thing, it's going to be about that as well, to be honest. And with No Name Ska Band, the ska band that I'm in down here is releasing a thing, and it's 7 tracks. It's like...
It's becoming more commonplace for people to release EPs than full albums. At least, local bands, if you will.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to use the term local band because it's not necessarily, but you know what I'm
it's
saying.
It's not derogatory. But I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Unless because I think an album is just going that extra mile, isn't it? And
right.
are you approaching it in a way where it kind of makes sense as an album? Is that like something that you've thought about?
There's kind of like a space theme to it, or like night and kind of spacey theme to it.
Awesome. That's cool. When I used to listen to my mum's LPs when I was a kid, it was like you get all the artwork,
right?
And on those great kind of 70s double albums, it would be like a whole kind of
It was a story.
Yeah,
right.
the band's like kind of next gift to humanity is like, this is a thing we figured out. Here's the whole, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like artwork and everything all intertwined, like a little world, Mm-hmm. And that was meaningful for me when I was younger, and the whole sort of streaming thing where it's just kind of taken that away a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
There's swings and roundabouts and everything, and if you really want to go and buy a vinyl album, you can do. So,
right.
It's not the end of the world, I guess.
So is your album, you had mentioned that it has kind of a spacey theme to it. Is it more of the album has a theme, or is there an actual storyline kind of intertwined within the album? Is there a character or a storyline or anything like that?
Nothing like that. Okay. No, it's just like a lot of the songs kind of have either something to do with the night or have like a spacey kind of, not all the songs, but definitely a good amount of them. And, it's kind of inspired by like Dark Side of the Moon sort of thing, but kind of maybe made in a reggae kind of feel. So
that's awesome.
Well, we've all heard that great album Dub's Side of the Moon.
That's
heavy, man.
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah. That's great. But that's cool. So something I wanted to ask you about was why do you think you wound up playing reggae over other things? Like how did that happen? What was was there ever a decision, or does it just seem like a natural thing for you to do?
I got super into Sublime in high school, pretty much right around the time when I was starting to play guitar, and felt like it fit my lifestyle a little bit. And, being so close to the beach and loving to surf and dive and stuff like that. And then I started getting into some of the other bands and realized that there was like this deeper message about, love and spreading love through music. And I love the message behind the music, and it's deeper than a lot of stuff that you're hearing on the radio. Pretty much anything that you're hearing on the radio,
pop or pop punk.
Yeah, I think that I think that the reggae has this kind of. I mean, if you go back to, 70s reggae and the beginning of reggae, it's always been very kind of socially conscious and obviously sort of like 2021 sort of Floridian reggae is a different animal from that. Right. But some of the things that but it has retained some of the aspects, and one of those aspects is this kind of like, in inverted commas, like kind of conscious sort of approach to kind of writing lyrics. And
absolutely.
Yeah, and for me that's a tricky one, I think, because it can some people sometimes can end up sounding a little bit up themselves and condescending and but if you're humble and transparent, and then you're usually okay. And I think, in my humble opinion, you fall on the side of, there's not like a kind of aloof bone in your body, really. You're just saying like, let's spread like the humility comes through in your music, which is important, And I know that it's something that I thought about when writing music myself and worried about endlessly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're all right, mate. From my humble opinion. So on that note, why don't we listen to a couple of your songs? Play us a couple of songs.
I'll do it. Let's
Cool.
do it.
All right,
cool.
What's up? My name's Joey Calderaio. This is a song called Deja Vu. I've never been here before. Why does it look so familiar? Am I lost in a dream? But I know I'm not dreaming. This is deja vu. I remember being here, but I don't remember you. Do you know my name? Do you know where I've been? We are not the same. Why do you look just like me? Look a little closer, oh it cannot be. Staring at the mirror, now I can see clearer. Right in front of me was a face full of terror. The clock is ticking on the shelf. Time passing by as I stare into myself. I don't like what I see, thinking it's time for a change of scenery. These memories won't fade. They constantly hit replay. It's not clear to me what it's meant to be in this fantasy. Whoa. No remedy will change. I'll always remain the same. What you gonna do? Stuck in deja vu. Am I breaking through to you? Press against my temples as I lay here with my thoughts. Coming to my senses to process what I saw. Oh no, I know it cannot be. The demons I was fighting with turned out to be me. The repetition trips me up. My brain is looping thoughts, caught a case of bad luck. What you gonna do when you come to realize you're stuck in deja vu? Am I lost in a dream? But I know I'm not dreaming. I'm in the grips and I can feel what's right in front of me slip from my hands. I can see it quickly vanishing. Well, I know with these visions are communicating, coming from within. Deja vu will soon return again. This is deja vu, but I don't remember being here, but I remember you. Am I walking in my sleep? Am I lucid dreaming? These memories won't fade. They constantly hit replay. It's not clear to me what it's meant to be in this fantasy. Whoa. No remedy will change. I'll always remain the same. What you gonna do? Stuck in deja vu. Am I breaking through to you? These memories won't fade. They constantly hit replay. It's not clear to me what it's meant to be in this fantasy. Whoa, no remedy will change. I'll always remain the same. What you gonna do? Stuck in deja vu. Am I breaking through to you? This is a song called Reputation to Protect.
reputation to protect, to kill them with kindness and respect, searching for the right message to project. Stand up beside us, the sunlight will guide us, thinking of the words I don't want to say, finding the right thoughts that I don't want to portray. I've been taking my time, sorry for the delay. We're on a mission, so stand up and listen. People all around, stand tall and hold ground. Together moving mountains, but make no sound. Let's get down to business and push past the limits. Nobody can stop us. Go ahead and run away to the top. The people all around are ready for the showdown. If we may rise or fall, we will hold together, stand proud. If love is the conquest, we'll press on without rest. Though evil may prevail, we will rise up without fail. We've got a reputation to protect, to kill them with kindness and respect, searching for the right message to project. Stand up beside us, the sunlight will guide us, thinking of the words I don't want to say, finding the right thoughts I don't want to portray. I've been taking my time, sorry for the delay. We're on a mission, so stand up and listen. Here's the situation, reggae music's on the rise, and we won't stop the movement till it's heard throughout the land and every nation of our creation. We will spread this love and music, and it will live beyond this generation. Feel the vibration, spreading music to your soul, taking your mind to a higher elevation. Whoa, 'cause this music's gonna play, and the power of the vibe won't stop. And our mission won't be shattered, 'cause we will hold together like a rock. We've got a reputation to protect, to kill them with kindness and respect, searching for the right message to project. Stand up beside us, the sunlight will guide us, thinking of the words I don't want to say, finding the right thoughts I don't want to portray. I've been taking my time, sorry for the delay. We're on a mission, so stand up and listen, yeah. Thank you.
All right, Ben. So this week our sponsor is the Leafy Greens Band.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Billy got in touch with me. They were on the show a couple of weeks back, and he's, you know, he said he wanted to help support the show because you know, thinks we're doing a good thing, and we really appreciate it. And they're such a great band. You know?
I got to tell you, man, like it's awesome that we've pretty much had a sponsor and multiple sponsors at times, you know, every week. Just goes to show the support that the community has for what we're trying to do, you know, which is get out the local music scene message, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, it holds a special place in my heart when someone like Billy and Ellen from Leafy Greens Band step up and sponsor an episode, because you know it's musicians supporting musicians at that point, and that's just a beautiful thing, man. Like that is an absolutely amazing thing. So, you know, thank you very much to the Leafy Greens Band. And thank you to Billy and Ellen, you know, the amazing people. If you don't know who they are, make sure you guys reference back to episode 5, I believe it was they were on. Amazing story of how they met, amazing story of how Billy got started in music, how he got Ellen started with the tambourine and her amazing tambourine skills that she...
I tell you what, the story that Billy has about the beginning of learning how to play
crazy.
is just crazy.
It's crazy and amazing and just inspiring, you know. So, yeah, definitely, if you haven't watched or listened to episode 5 with the Leafy Greens Band, do yourself a favor and give that a listen. It's pretty good stuff. And if you want to check them out live, which I highly recommend, you know, that's my one. I gotta say that's my one sad point of being so involved with Killbillies is that I'm so busy on the weekends with Killbillies that I don't get out. I don't get out as often as I'd like to actually see other acts that are amazing. And, like the Leafy Greens band. Yeah, if you haven't had a chance to listen to that episode or to watch that episode, it's episode 5 with the Leafy Greens band, and it's pretty amazing and pretty inspiring. And if you want to see them in person, they are playing this weekend. Friday, they're playing at American Craft Ale Works at 7 p.m. That's in West Palm Beach on Clematis. Saturday, they've got a private party, it looks like in the morning. And then Sunday, they're playing at Bradley's from 6 to 9 p.m. So that's also in West Palm Beach on Clematis over by the water on Flagler. I highly, highly recommend that if you have not had a chance to see these guys, that you get out and watch them. I mean, their original music is amazing. They do some really cool cover interpretations.
Bradley's one would be a nice chill one too, go sit outside there,
man, just sit there and have a cocktail or 6 and, listen to these guys and just chill by the waterfront, man. There's nothing wrong with that on a Sunday.
Absolutely.
So yeah, thank you. We cannot say it enough. Billy and Ellen, Leafy Greens, the Leafy Greens band. Let's make sure we get that right.
Big up, Billy and Ellen. Thank you very much.
And their website is theleafygreensband.com. They're also on Facebook, Instagram, all the social media stuff. Look them up, and all of their links and everything will be in our show notes. So thank you guys very much. Big mad props to you guys for supporting us and supporting what we do here. We appreciate it.
Totally. So, Joey, you just played us a couple of songs. Would you mind telling us what the songs were about?
Sure. So Deja Vu.
Yeah.
That tune was pretty much about a panic attack that I had, and looking at the mirror, and some of the lyrics kind of corresponded with the song, but just like looking at myself in the mirror and just feeling so out of body.
Right, yeah.
And it was just a strange experience. And
mushrooms were involved.
Yeah. Right. And
was this a panic attack related to music or performing, or just something else in your life? And you don't have to tell me what it is.
I'll be honest, I don't even remember.
Okay, fair enough.
I just then it kind of like became like a recurring thing.
Okay.
Right. And I was sober as well, and
yeah.
And I felt like I had to write about it and called it Deja Vu because it kept occurring, and
sure,
that's interesting. I've struggled with a bit of depression and anxiety myself, and I can totally relate to having problems with anxiety. It can be a total out of body experience at times.
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, what was the other song about?
Reputation Protect. That song is for the people, and it's pretty much about my mission of spreading positivity, and that song was on the Moving Mountains EP. And
right.
So the whole like concept behind that whole EP was that like we're in this together, and we're
I love that.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time kind of getting it out, but hopefully the song kind of does it justice with the message there.
I noticed that like there's a lot of kind of stuff that you talk about in your songs to do with outlook and attitude and things like everything that you need you already have, you just don't see it, and
right.
And there's a lot of stuff that I've been sort of looking at lately. I got sober about a year and a half ago, and
right.
I've been thinking about that kind of stuff a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed a lot of kind of that kind of messaging in your work, which just to do with just an approach to life,
right.
which is like a humility and giving and love. And I just think it's a great message, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, and it goes back to like with that song in particular. I think you're talking about Right in Front of You.
Yeah.
So like a lot of times, I write those songs to like kind of remind myself of like everything I need is right in front of me, and like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes people might think that because I write this reggae music or whatever, I might be like a super positive person, which I strive to be. You know, I don't like. But a lot of times it's like what I need to be telling myself at the same time.
I feel that.
But other than that, I'm a piece of shit.
Honesty. That's what 561 Music brings to you. We're all about the honesty here.
So, yeah, can we get that pedal board up on the screen? We wanted to talk to you about your pedals.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
Yeah, here it is. So why don't you run through what you've got going on there?
So starting with the top left, we've got the MXR Phase 90. As you can see, I'm a fan of MXR.
Yeah.
It's a great pedal. It's got the Van Halen.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Rest in peace, man. Legend.
Yeah.
It's a great phase. It's a classic.
Yeah.
I keep it dialed down pretty low just because the speed I feel like is already pretty high on it.
Right.
Then I've got the carbon copy. You know, super popular pedal.
Yeah.
Some nice delay.
What does it do for the uninitiated? Like, because there's some people on this that don't even know anything about pedals and stuff.
Oh, right. So the delay. How in depth do you want me to go?
So it's a delay.
It's a delay. Sorry.
Yeah. So like I don't think there's a single reggae artist alive who doesn't have some form of delay on their pedal board.
Right.
Yeah, I think it would be impossible. What's this little orange guy next to it?
That's the T-Rex Karma. It's a boost. You know.
Okay. Does it have a kind of tone of its own, or does it just get a bit louder?
Yeah, I don't believe so. I don't believe it has any kind of tone. I think it's just a volume boost.
Gotcha.
But, you know, works great for when I need that extra boost.
Sure, yeah.
The little tiny red pedal at the top, that's the Hall of Fame reverb, and I believe I have some kind of spring reverb loaded in on it right now, and pretty much when I do those long like reggae kind of hits where, you know, kind of has like that space reverb kind of feel sometimes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I got you.
That big pedal in the middle, that's a TC Helicon Voice Live 3 that does all the looping, and it's got multi-effects, vocal effects, guitar effects. It's got pretty much everything I'd ever need. But,
yeah, I've got a whole bunch of stuff which is kind of like that at home. I think I'm going to sell it all and get that.
Yeah,
I think I might get that guy.
Oh, I love it, man.
So is that you're running your vocals and your guitar through that pedal?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a TC Helicon, one of the ones that does the harmonizer.
Sure, yeah.
And you plug the guitar through it as well, and then they've just been slowly. TC's been slowly developing this pedal, and I guess this is one of the newer kind of iterations of that. You know?
It's
a whole bunch
awesome.
of different stuff.
I run everything into it because when I loop, I'll have those effects.
Do you loop your vocals much when you're performing on your own?
Not really, except unless if it's like the beatboxing stuff.
Oh, right, of course, yeah.
But I don't really loop too much. Here and there, there's a couple songs I do, but
when I've done it in the past, I found it hard to like kind of. It gets out of control a little bit.
Right.
like it get the
37 layers later, Ben's like, oh my God, I'm in the rabbit hole.
Yeah, well, I have to say
stop.
that there are some people out there that loop well and some people out there loop not so well, and you definitely loop well. So, yeah, kudos on that. Sounds great.
I was making that comment earlier. Just, mad respect for the timing. It has to be like so impeccable when you're doing so many layers like that, and that you were like spot on, man.
Yeah, what's going on with the thing on the left at the bottom there with the yellow, blue, and red tape?
That's the on the left. It's erase, so that's to erase my entire loop.
Right.
The middle is my input, so I switch between looping like guitar or vocals.
Right.
Because sometimes I'll be looping a song or I'll be singing while playing the guitar, but I don't want it to loop my singing while I'm playing the guitar parts.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I gotcha. That's cool.
And then I have an undo button for if I screw up.
Yeah.
And then that brown pedal on the right side, that's the super octave. It's pretty much I use that as a bass simulator.
Which which one is it? 3, is it?
Yep. Yeah. Super
I got a
octave
5, and then I recently just got an Electro Harmonics one, because I use a lot of my solo acts, I
right.
always use an octave, and I'm trying to get it to sound as much like a bass as possible.
Right.
And the OC5 is pretty cool because it has this thing. So the OC3's got the threshold, hasn't it? Where you can kind of set it up to a certain point and then it cuts out.
Yeah, it does.
And the OC5 took it even further, where you play a chord and it only plays the bottom note of the chord, which is awesome.
That's sick.
But it still sounds a little 808-y, which doesn't really matter with like reggae. So it's not 808, that's a drum machine, but like 303, you kind of dance music-y, which doesn't matter in reggae. In fact, it sounds cool, kind of gives it that 80s dancehall sort of sound. But for this kind of stuff I'm doing, it doesn't really work. So I was trying to get it as close as I could to a bass guitar, and I think so far this Electro Harmonix one is the best. But if anyone's listening to this and knows about octave pedals and has opinions on them, I want to hear it. So.
As do I. So I'm still trying to find that right bass tone for the playing with the acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's like the octave pedal for me has just been I feel like I could do a YouTube video on them right now.
Yeah.
I've just been through so many of them at this point. And what's that guy on the end there?
The one on the end, that's a tube amp simulator. So I use this entire pedal board for my acoustic and full band shows. I just got tired of having two different pedal boards, because a lot of times I wanted the same pedal.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have to buy doubles.
I do the same thing. I agree.
Yeah, I put the same pedal board together. So I've got the tube amp simulator on the right. It's got high.
So when you're playing with the band, then you just have a monitor, or do you
just use a monitor.
Yeah,
it's a lot easier. Of course, like a tube amp would be most preferred, but for the sake of it being easiest.
Sure, yeah, and that's the way things are going. I think honestly, tube at this point, they sound great. Of course, they sound great, but in a live setting in a bar or whatever, at what point does it just become kind of you just want it because it's cool?
Right.
I don't know. There's a line there. I'm probably going to upset a lot of people with beautiful like Fender Princetons.
Right.
And stuff like
what? Can't believe you said that. Yeah. I just find that convenience is like definitely a high list of importance to me, with having to load in so much gear.
Yeah.
It's like a workout.
Well, there's a lot of venues where like you said, it's not that you don't want it. I mean, it's nice to have, but it's almost just lost on that crowd,
right?
Or lost on that venue. It really doesn't serve much of a purpose. It doesn't change things enough at that point at that venue to justify having to carry it with you.
Yeah.
We downsized our whole situation. I used to have an amp. At one point I had two amps. I had one for my mandolin and one for my guitar, but now I just go through the PA. Yeah. It's easier, and also, I mean, do you play acoustic guitar all the time, or do you ever use an electric?
Yeah, I use the electric for full band gigs.
Okay, through the same pedal board.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to, if we ever get any day. Actually, we've got a couple of days off this weekend, but so maybe I'll come and watch you doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, what we got left here? I guess it's just a question of
yeah, man. Just
the dates and stuff.
Yeah. If anybody wants to check out Joey this weekend, Friday, Rybovich Marina, the trio is playing. Saturday, Copper Point Brewing, the full band. Saturday, that's actually from 1 to 4, and then Saturday again from 6 to 10, the full band at Taco Tiki. So I mean, so when we said earlier, one of the hardest working musicians around, we weren't kidding.
Taco Tiki's fun, isn't it?
That's
it's
a fun
spot. I always like playing there.
Yeah, totally.
And then
where's Copper Point Brewing?
Copper Point Brewing's in Boynton Beach. It's my favorite brewery of all time. They've got, if you like beer, they've got amazing beer, and it's their 6th anniversary party.
Nice.
So
neat.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they're going to have like over 20 new beers on tap or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Oh, excellent.
Hope I'm not misquoting it, but yeah, it's going to be cool.
And then Sunday you're playing, but it's a private event, so.
Yes.
Yep. And then our shameless Killbillies plug of the week.
Hey, got to do it.
Yeah, got to do it, man. Friday we're playing Brick and Barrel full band, and that's in Abacoa for those that don't know. And then Saturday, you and James are doing duo at Square Grouper in Jupiter.
Nice.
Yeah, that's it. I'm going to be using my brand new octave pedal I was talking about.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So, and then Next week, we're going to have Scott Gaylor on the show, and this guy is an absolutely ridiculous guitar player. I was watching some of his videos and stuff, and this guy is unbelievable on guitar.
He's brutal, man. He's
brilliant.
He's
on
like
guitar.
he's like when you see those guys with long hair that are insane at guitar. He's those guys.
Well, and in fact,
he's just insane. And with he has this incredible understanding of pedals. Just really understands how to get killer sounds out of them, and he can just smoke on the guitar.
Well, in fact, one of the videos, one of the videos I came across, looking some of his stuff up was actually, I want to say 2004, but I could be wrong on the year. But it was a video of him back when Guitar Center used to have here locally. The Guitar Center had like a center stage inside the Guitar Center, and they used to have these guitar competitions. And it was him playing like a guitar competition at Guitar Center, in the middle of the guitar. It was pretty awesome, man. Surrounded by all the gear and everything. It was pretty amazing. But he was just shredding.
He does like NAMM stuff. He's one of the guys who demos at NAMM.
Right.
Yeah. So it'd be fun to have someone like that on. He's awesome. Really an expert at just like an instrumental expert.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Joey, it was an absolute pleasure having you on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much. It was an honor.
Great, great meeting you. Music was amazing. I mean, like I said, the looping stuff was just spot on, man. That was really good stuff.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, really good stuff, man.
Yeah, excellent. All right, so I guess until next week then, and
if anybody's anybody who's listening or anybody who's watching, we'll have all of Joey's links and social media stuff and website and anything else I can dig up on you that we can put on there, your mug shots, whatever whatever we got on you. It's all going to be in the show notes. It's all going to be in the YouTube notes in the description area. It'll be on our website, 561music.com, which has all our episodes, and every episode has everybody's links and stuff in there. If you want to listen to Joey, look him up on Spotify, and in fact, he's on our 561 Music playlist, which we haven't plugged in a few episodes now, but we do have a 561 Music playlist on Spotify, which features only local musicians. Pretty much everybody who's been on the show, everybody who's going to be on the show, and anybody else that we thought was cool that we threw on there as well. So.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a great playlist. I'd still just bang it in the car all the time.
Yeah,
it's awesome. And, it's something which I really enjoy about this is it's been, sort of reconnecting me with old friends a little bit. A couple of my best friends, Ben and Ollie from London, they've been listening to it and really enjoying it. And I was thinking about sort of this medium and how it's quite nice because my friend Ollie was saying, sort of driving around listening to you talking to people is kind of like we're hanging out a little bit, and it made me a little bit sad. but it's cool. But anyway, big up Ben and Ollie. Yeah.
Sweet. All right, well, thank you, and till next week, guys.
Yeah, see you later.
See you later.
Peace
Thanks.
out.